Hello, my name is Starla Henderson with Fronterhouse Quilts blog, and we're going to continue today to work on our spring sampler, and we're going to start the bunny. The bunny is not hard. There's a few places on the bunny that you have to pay particular care to, and all of the detail on the bunny is done with embroidery. So the bunny, except for the tail, I did make the tail, as you can see here, a different color just to make it pop, is all one piece. So as we do this, I only am going to show you the head, because this part right here, the back end of the bunny, this little bottom, is it's just one big circle. It's not hard at all, and so is the tail. You do have to put the tail down first because it goes up underneath the little hind end here, the little back end. So, but for video purposes, I'm just going to do the part that's going to be the difficult part, and even it's not very difficult, and that's this. So, here we go. This is, I've already back basted the bunny head on, and really, even this is the hardest part, but it's not hard. You're going to have, I'm going to start right here, and you're going to go around these ears like that, and then all of this is, as I said before, is embroidered on. Now, I went on ahead and back basted it because that's what you're going to use, so that you know you'll make your line to embroider later, and I marked it too. But you're just going to be appliquing around the edges. All of these that go in, you're not going to applique. That's going to be added later with embroidery, so don't cut it. Alright. So, I'm just going to start right here, and with this, you don't want to, let me find, you do not want to cut this until you're ready, because this is going to be a kind of a deep little valley there, and if you cut it too soon, you know, if you start down here, it really doesn't matter where you start. If you start on the back part of the bunny, wait until you get here, or you can start here. It doesn't really matter, because the whole bunny, all of it, is going to be appliqued down. But I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to clip this very carefully, 1/4 of an inch. Now, as you get closer to this point, excuse me, you're not going to have that 1/4 of an inch. Just like we've done before, it's going to get a smaller and smaller seam allowance. But I'm going to go ahead and clip it, and I try to stay as close to the center of what I'm clipping as I can. Okay, now I'm going to get my basting thread cut. And we're going to start turning this. And we've done these before. This is nothing but a little sharp valley, as I call them, deep valley. And this is actually coming off the curve of the bunny's shoulder. So, but we're just going to start here for the purposes of this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn it, bury my knot. I'm using white thread on brown fabric, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay, you're just going to start stitching down. Pull out my basting threads, which, there we go. And you're going to stitch down towards that sharp little valley there. And I like to clip my threads out of the way. Just makes it easier for me to see where I'm going. Seems like the older I get, the more my ability to see it just gets harder and harder at times. taking tiny stitches. Keep on turning as you get further down there. I'm going to sweep that under, sweeping with my needle to get all those little bitty frayed pieces of thread, because this fabric does want to fray just a little bit. And if you're working with a fabric that really gives you problems with that, you know, there's Fray Check and Fray Stop. There's several out there that you can use. Alright, now we're coming to this junction. This part right here is going to be embroidered. Actually, you're going to embroider around the whole thing, but you're not going to applique this part. So I'm going to cut my basting stitches there and start pulling them out for what I'm going to applique. Get it gone. Okay. And I'm going to keep going. I'm getting closer to this valley, so I'm going to swoop this in and get all that, as much of that turned as I can. It's fighting me a little bit. Taking really tiny stitches. And I'm going to go right in to the center of that little valley. And it's kind of a stab stitch. I go down, and I'm going to turn my work a little bit. Pull this back out like this. There we go. Now, I've got my needle, although the thread's coming out from the bottom, so don't forget what you're doing and take a stitch right now. But I've got to turn this. So I'm going to start turning, and I swoop it, just like I did before. And you may have to do it a couple of times if your fabric's fighting you. There we go. Now, go back under, and I'm going to go back in. It's really close to where I went in before. I'm going to come back up. And I'm going to start appliquing up the other side. Now, one cool thing about what we're going to be doing in our next video is we're going to be doing an outlining stitch or with our embroidery floss around this. So if you don't get this just perfect, you're going to cover it up on this case with this rabbit. So it's a good beginner project because you get to cover up your mistakes if you have any. Alright, that's the hardest part. You're going to continue around these ears, up this way, down, you're going to have another little valley here, up, all the way around. This is going to be embroidered. So just like this, when you get here, you stop. You don't take these stitches out. You're going to come back around here, a little dip in the face. Once again, here at the little mouth, you're going to applique in, but this is going to be embroidered. You're not going to cut all the way in there. All the way around, again, this curves all the way up. You're just going to applique around that edge. Then, in the next video, I'll probably show you just how to do the eye. Eye is very important. It just makes that rabbit come alive. So, we're going to do the eye, and then we'll talk about all of the other stitches. And we're at least going to do the eye. So, but we will be embroidering in all of these little details. This is Starla Henderson with Fronterhouse Quilts blog. Thank you for joining me as we complete our bunny, as we work on our bunny for our spring sampler.